Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Parks Commissioner Steve Sansone here with my deputy Lisa McKay, here for an important moment at Columbus Park, the heart and soul of this community. We are here to dedicate these basketball courts, which were recently renovated as part of our Phase 1 rehab. We shortly will begin renovations on Phase 2, the pergolas and the stairs, thanks to the resources provided by our mayor and the City Council. It's an honor to be here for a dedication to someone who was the heart and soul of Park Hill community, a proud Italian American that represented the rich cultural diversity that exists in our community and in this park today. A proud veteran, community and supporter of our many organizations throughout the city. So my staff and I and our Parks Board are very happy to be here as part of this celebration. And we are surrounded on our veterans monuments below and next to us with an assortment of Romanos from the past that may or may not be related, but we know we are in good company today all around with them watching down and with the entire Romano family here today. We are here with many officials and dignitaries this afternoon, and we, of course, would like to start off with our mayor. Please welcome Mayor Mike Spano.
Thank you, Commissioner. Thank you, Deputy Commissioner, Deputy Mayor, obviously the members of the City Council that are here with me today, because without them, not much is possible. So I want to say thank you, as I always do, to our Council President and our members of the City Council. To the Romano family, family I know my entire life. The Columbus Park is, for those of us who have been around a long time, know Columbus Park is part of the old 7th Ward. And this area of Park Hill meant so much to John Romano because it was his home. It was his church. It was where his story began. From shining shoes to serving us in the United States Marine Corps. He was a real good friend of my dad, and my father was so proud of John Romano. I remember going to, whether it be going to the Sons of Italy, going to the parish, or going to different events that are happening, the Columbus Day celebration, and he always got a kick out of John Romano because he was so proud. He was so proud to be an Italian American, and he was so proud to be an American. He was so proud of who he was, what he was able to make of himself, and what his family has become here in our city of Yonkers. His passion for service continued throughout his entire career, and he's helped so many. He's helped Holocaust survivors, he's helped new immigrants, and he really was a pillar in this community. He's done that by helping others realize their own American dream. And that's what Yonkers is all about. A place of pride. A place where stories like John Romano's blossom, grow, and become legendary. Now, he will be remembered right here in this court. A place that he called home. His spirit is with us today. We know it will live with us forever, and today is just that moment that we can pay back to John Romano and to his entire family and say thank you. It's good to be here today. It really is.
Thank you, Mayor. We've got so many wonderful guests that have joined us today. I'd like to acknowledge them. Of course, we have our Deputy Mayor Anthony Landy is here. We have representing Council President Lakeisha Collins Bellamy. We have Maria George right behind me. Of course, our Majority Leader Tasha Diaz. City Council Person Shanae Williams. From our county, we have James Nolan, County Legislator. Justin Tubiello, representing his son, David Tubiello. I know he was here, County Legislator Alvarado. And we have a Westchester County Family Court. We have Judge Marianne Scatter, her article neighbor. There you are. Yeah, what's going on? From the City Court, we have Karen Best, Arthur Doran, Ada Medina, and I think we've heard of him, Daniel Romano. And of course we have Karen Beltran is here. Miss Karen. Thank you. And the Romanos are here. We have Andrew and John and Christopher and Joe and Cousin Joe and the rest of the family. So we're so glad that they're here. And I'm going to miss somebody. And we're going to have reflections and words about John N. Romano, Esquire, from Joe Romano. Please join us.
Go, Joe.
So we're going to talk about love because that's what my father always wanted to talk about. And part of that love, obviously, you are showing that love for us and the family. Much appreciated from everyone that came, all our friends and family, the political sector, the union officials that are here, and everybody else that just love the Romanos. And we greatly, really appreciate that. And that love, what my father always talked about, is exhibited by what you guys did and what a great showing we had today. The one thing my father always talked about this neighborhood was about love, and he said, Joe, we didn't have a lot. We really didn't have too much, but the one thing we did have, which most people don't have, is we had love. So everybody in this neighborhood stuck with each other and was strong and tight. You know, from all the clubs, you had Tony Cafe Pool, you had the little pastry shop, and you had all the Italian clubs, you had some social clubs, you had the barber shop, you had the hot dog vendor. You had a couple of gambling halls, and you know this neighborhood was extremely tight, and everyone backed each other up. You know, I'm happy that we're here today because this is where, and Mayor Spano said it, this is where it all started. This is I consider it my father's formal education, because this is where we learned how to fight. He was a very good street fighter. Everyone had a nickname, you know, half a man, you know, two hot dogs. Everyone had a name. My father's nickname was the Animal for the right reason. He was a tremendous fighter, and he took that fighting through his whole life, and he taught that to everybody, every one of us in the family, as well as anyone that came in contact with him, was that the ability to fight, to stand up, and when you got knocked down, you come back and come back stronger. The one thing I always come here and I think about it, there was always a church on the hill, Mount Carmel Church, very similar to how the neighborhood used to be on Pleasant Avenue in East Harlem, or on 187th Street in Arthur Avenue in the Bronx. Everyone gravitated around the church. My father has a window in there. It's actually it's a military window. It's the only military window, I think, in except maybe in somewhere in Europe. But for church to have a military window, he dedicated it to all 4 Marine divisions because his brother died, Joe, and his brother D suffered tremendous brain damage when he was in World War II in the Pacific Theater. His names are down below, and the name of the monument are the boys from the 7th Ward. And he always talked about that, the 7th Ward, and how important it was. But Anthony D. Romano and Joseph G. Romano's name are on that wall because they were not going to be forgotten with the sacrifice they made. Again, going back to the idea of love, it was both a sacrifice, and I also consider what my father did for the Yonkers community as he donated his life. He didn't sacrifice his life, but he donated his life. And I looked up in the dictionary and I said, what does donate mean? It means you have no expectation of giving, you have no expectation of getting anything back. It's only a one-way street. And that was my father. And if it was, and we have a hot dog truck downstairs over here, Walter's Hot Dogs. That was one of his favorite methods of payment. So if you went to his office and you didn't have any money, he would say, you know what, go down to Nathan's, get me a couple of hot dogs. That's okay, that's my fee. And I'll give you a short little story. There was a very famous criminal case, and he went to my father, and you know, there was let's put it this way, it was a bad situation. And my father said, don't talk to the detectives, don't talk to anyone. So Westchester County PD picked him up, interrogated him, and they convicted him of a serious crime. And he was in jail for 10 years, and motions went through, appeals went through. And my father had to testify, and they brought my father in, and they said, And the reason what the basis of the appeal was that the attorney-client relationship had commenced. My father had been retained by this person, and this person could not give up his right to counsel. So my father had to go up in front of Judge Lange up in Westchester Supreme Court and testify that he was retained by this individual, and the district attorney went absolutely nuts and said, "Where's your written retainer? How much did he pay you?" "He gave me 2 hot dogs." And Judge Lange said, there's a relationship there. There's an attorney-client relationship. They reversed the conviction and the confession that they got out of him, and he ended up getting a shorter prison term. But that was my father. That was a classic John Romano, giving, always giving and never taking, and always being the best that he could be, and try to make you the best you could be. So I'll give you another example. I'll give you another little story. The one thing about my father is he never complained, except once. I'll tell you one story that he complained, but he never complained. He always was giving, and he wrote a short story about my grandmother, and she'd go up to the VA hospital at Christmas time, and she would bring warm. My grandmother was ridiculous. She was an amazing cook, and she, and couldn't speak English. She was a seamstress and very little education, but she could cook like unbelievable. It was like all the love in her heart and all the strength went into her food. So they would go up and see my Uncle D, who was in the VA hospital, and he had brain damage. He was pretty much out of it, but my father was there, and it was a winter's morning, and my father cleared out. There was snow on the table, and he cleared it away, and my grandmother started feeding my uncle. And my father said to her, it's tough. We got to come up and see D. And she said, "No, we don't have it. We don't have it tough. Look over there, and look at the Stern family." And Mrs. Stern was there with 3 of her sons, all disabled veterans. So he was always trying to show that no matter how bad you think you got it, you don't got it that bad. There's always somebody worse. And he never, ever wanted to complain about anything. And he always wanted to be positive, and always wanted to try to lift everybody and make everyone a better person. And that's what he did. And that's through his giving and his sacrifice, as well as his donating his whole life to the community. I'll give you one more short story. I'll make you laugh. So Father Vinci, who is the priest over here at Mount Carmel, comes over to see my father, and he goes, "John, I got the roof. It's got a big hole in the roof. I don't know what to do." And remember, you got to understand, the Archdiocese of New York, they don't help the other churches. You got to kick up to them, but you never get anything coming back the other way. So they always got to go to the community. So my father, they needed $15,000. So my father looked in the account and goes, "You know what? I could probably afford $1,000 a month for 15 months. So he gives Father Vinci 15 checks. So you know what Father Vinci did? He cashed all the checks at the same time. My father, you gotta understand, my father was a tough guy. He was a really tough guy. You guys don't know how tough he really is, or was. He was a very tough guy. And he looked at Father Vinci. It's the priest. You can't do anything. You can't touch the priest. But he looked at him. They gave him like a side eye. And boy, did he want to give him a beating. But he didn't. He goes, "Father, I'll remember that. I got to give you one check at a time." But anyway, that was my father, always giving and never taking. And again, I want to thank everybody for coming. My father, would be so proud today. By the way, he hated sports, never played basketball. But he'd want to be the boys from the 7th Ward, that monument downstairs with his brother's name on it. He'd want to be near him. He always looked at that monument. We would come by, and he always pointed to the monument. He'd want to be near those people and those names. So I can't think of any other better place to have his name next to than this neighborhood where it all started on 52 Maple Street, and all the people he touched. And I'll keep talking. I know I'm going to keep talking. Anybody I say I'm John Romano's son, they got a story. Everybody's got a story. So if you could touch people and in just a matter of moments, and you have a story about him, that's just incredible power. And he was able to give that love and have that memory because, oh, that guy Johnny Romano was unbelievable. You know what he did? And everybody has a story. So if you can get people to talk about you and always have a story about you, that's how you really could show how much love that you give everybody and how much you appreciated life. Thank you so much for coming, and so thank you so much for celebrating with us for the John and Romano. Thank you.
Great job. Thank you, Joe. And thanks to the Romano family and to our majority leader for putting on this great event for the kids today. I'm going to ask our majority leader, Tasha Diaz, to come up and say a few words.
Thank you, Steve. Hello, how is everyone doing today? When I got the call from Vanessa to say, look, we need to do something in Yonkers. You know, we need to make sure that the community knows that people still love them, that people care for them. So this was just one of the great things that we came up with, right? To make sure that people that have done things in Yonkers, that they continue that their legacy continues to live on through, whether it's their family members, through friends, to let the community know what went on before and what we want to bring back. The Romanos are all about love. That was always a household name in my house when I was growing up. I could give you a little back history about the Romanos as well. My husband used to work with Joe and 20, and my mother was good friends with their father, John. He helped her with a lot of cases. And then when I became a foster mom, Joe helped me with my case to become a foster mother. So that's just some of the little things that they do for the community. And they never ask for anything. It's always, what could I do for you? What could I give back for you, or what do you need for me to do to you? So when they reached out to me and said, what would the community like? My father loved to see people happy. He loved to see people together. He loved to see them smiling. So we need to put something on in the community where everybody could come out and enjoy and don't have to worry about digging in their pockets, because we're at a time where not everybody has it. So they opened up their wallets, they opened up their arms and their love to say, Yonkers, we love you. So this renaming of this basketball court is just a legacy to keep their names going on. So from this point on, everybody should know that the Romano's name is a household name and will forever live on in the city of Yonkers. Congratulations to the entire Romano family for this dedication.
Okay, I think we're going to do the dedication. If you can gather the Romano family and our dignitaries to my left.